Hey everyone, if you are here watching, hopefully it is because you watched part 1 that I put out on December 5th. I'm anticipating to get this out today, December 6th. It's a beautiful day here in Texas, so hopefully this does happen, that I get this done and get it uploaded, because in all honesty, I don't like talking about Gabby and all the shenanigans, because my point was proven that there is no gray area for these grown-ass people, and I cannot figure out why. That there's so much hatred towards Gabby that people are unable to see that two things can be true at the same time. I never once said I was defending Gabby. So if you're going to come in my comments again and talk about how horrible Gabby is, you're just adding to the bullying that I'm trying to prove a point. That I don't even have to say it outright to prove that point. You're proving it for me. But when it comes to the video that I put out yesterday, there is a correction I need to make. And it's a very important correction, because I said something against Feisty that is not only incorrect, it's damaging to her character. And that is not what I wanted to do here. I think it's pretty clear that I don't care for Feisty, but I'm not going to say something about her and then just leave it. So there is a point in the video where Feisty makes a comment about Gabby 2.0, aka Kaylee, and that she needs to keep her hands off of her children. And in the moment, I did not make the connection that she's talking about another Kaylee, that there is proof that she has laid her hands on her children. She was referring to that Kaylee, not Crash Out Kaylee. I think it's clear that I'm not a fan of Feisty, and that's my choice. She's not my cup of tea. That's fine. I'm not here to bash her character, and I said that in the first video. I can dislike her and not run all over the internet talking shit on her, okay? Now, if she decides to come back and talk a bunch of shit on me, then yes, I might address it. And from my viewpoint, that's what I see Kaylee doing in a lot of this. She addresses the situation when she's being spoken about or when she's addressed. And I can guarantee you, I will do the same. I don't expect Feisty to not at least give her opinion if I have something to say about her, stand up for herself. I get it. I would do the same. But I'm not talking about everything she does on her platforms when it comes to Gabby or anything else that she does. This is solely about the lawsuit she has filed against Gabby and Kaylee. This isn't even about Gabby's behavior. This is about a lawsuit that's filed in Ohio by Feisty. And regardless if you are a huge supporter of Feisty, I get that. Or if you're not, that's fine too. The point is, I'm reading the words on the paper, y'all. I am reading what was filed within that court. And my opinion from reading it, reading every single word and every single filing that was filed in that courthouse in Ohio, it is my opinion this case will be dismissed. It is my opinion that it's not a strong case. Since when am I not entitled to my opinion? Everybody else is, clearly. We saw it in the comments. There's a lot of opinions. And the funny thing is, it's not about this lawsuit. It's about Gabby. Once again, proving my point. The obsession with Gabby is so strong. And listen, like I've said, Gabby frustrates the living hell out of me when I watch. And when I get frustrated and start screaming at my phone and want to throw it out the window, that's a me problem. So I log off. I click out of it. Because for anybody that allows somebody they do not know personally, they allow them to control their emotions and feelings, and you have so much hatred towards somebody you don't even know, that's not a Gabby problem. That's a you problem. And it blows my mind that people think they're going to change Gabby. She's proven after 4 years, there's no changing, okay? If the law gets involved and they make steps, if certain agencies get involved and they make steps, that's because they made the steps. Anybody that thinks they are making this world a better place because they're following Gabby's every move on the internet, that's to line your own pockets. That's my opinion. Gabby's an easy target. I'll tell you one thing, there are so many people on this internet that are 1,000 times worse than Gabby. So much worse than Gabby. Gabby is not the worst person on this internet by even close. And you know what? I don't think any of these creators would even touch somebody like that, would even touch somebody that is worse than Gabby, because they're the ones that bite. You want to talk about biting? They bite. You talk about them, your whole life will be doxxed. Your whole family will be doxxed. Your whole in-laws will be doxxed. Your ancestors will be doxxed. You ever adopted a puppy? That puppy's family is going to be doxxed. Their owners will be doxxed. The neighbors of that owner will be doxxed. Your whole life will be put out on the internet. You want your high school picture to be put out? It'll be put out. You want your neighbor's high school picture to be put out? It'll be put out. You want CPS to be called on your kids that you don't even have? You don't have children? CPS will still be called. You will be stalked. You will be harassed. You're not going to touch that. You touch Gabby. Why? Because you know she doesn't have anything to back her to do any damage. She doesn't have it in her. She doesn't have it financially. And again, is Gabby entertainment? Unfortunately, she is. Everybody else gains from it. So I'll stop with that rant because, again, that's not why we're here. But it still shows that people cannot see that I am here to talk about this lawsuit, not about Gabby's behaviors and what she's done prior to this. Only what words are written on this paper that the judge is going to see, and that I am here to show you enough about Gabby and all the horrible things she has done. I'm fully aware, okay? I'm fully aware. So let's talk about this lawsuit. Let's look at all the filings, all right? Let's get into it, y'all. Now, can we talk about the lawsuit? Okay. Yes, Gabby filed an order of protection against Feisty down in Florida. Feisty lives in Ohio. Gabby withdrew her petition just days before the hearing was scheduled. Feisty drove down to Florida anyways, and that is what she is suing Gabby for. She is suing for the amount of money that it cost to travel and all the other expenses included. She included Kaylee as a co-defendant in this. I have the biggest problem with that than anything in this, which is equal to my frustration that this never should have been filed and that it is a waste of the court's time. But it's also a waste of Feisty's money, and if that's what she wants to do with it, so be it. None of my business, right? But these filings are public record. Feisty herself encouraged everybody in her streams to go find them and read them for themselves. So I did, and I'm here to talk about it. So let's just look at that and focus on that. All right, here we go. So Kaylee filed a motion to dismiss. And like I said in the last video, that's exactly what I would have done. Because number one, that's her right. Okay. Number two, by law, she has a strong argument that this should be dismissed for lack of personal jurisdiction, improper venue, and she also states failure to state a claim. And I'm not going to read all of these motions word for word, to save some time, but here she says that as a defendant, she's appearing pro se and that she respectfully moves the court to dismiss the plaintiff's complaint, and she cites Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12b-2, which allows a defendant to file a motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction. She also states Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12b-3, which allows her to file a motion to dismiss a lawsuit for improper venue, meaning that Feisty filed this in the wrong geographic location, and if she wants to file it properly, she can file it down in Louisiana. Kaylee also cites Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12b-6, which allows her to file a motion to dismiss a lawsuit for failure to state a claim, and says that Feisty's complaint lacks factual allegations, by particularly stating that merely assisting or supporting another individual, meaning Gabby, in obtaining legal counsel or crowdfunding legal fees does not establish liability under Ohio law. She then says that defendant further states that her co-defendant Gabby may file a separate or related motion to dismiss. Kaylee expressly joins and incorporates by reference any motion to dismiss or related filings submitted by co-defendant Gabby to the extent those arguments are applicable. Defendant respectfully requests that the court grant her motion to dismiss all claims against her with prejudice, and grant such other relief as the court deems just and proper. Respectfully submitted, Kaylee. Kaylee also filed a motion to appear remotely, stating that she's appearing pro se, and she respectfully moves this court for permission to appear remotely via Zoom or telephone for any hearings or proceedings in the above captioned case. In support of this motion, she states that she resides in the state of Louisiana and is not a resident of Ohio, that she is a full-time single mother and traveling to Ohio would create a significant financial and child care hardship. Defendant has filed or will be filing a motion to dismiss in this matter and wishes to participate in any related hearings in good faith. That allowing her to appear remotely would not prejudice any party and would promote judicial efficiency by avoiding unnecessary travel and expense. Defendant is willing to comply with any instructions or technical requirements of the courts to ensure a smooth remote appearance. Along with these motions, Kaylee filed an affidavit of Kaylee stating, I am a resident of the state of Louisiana. I have never lived in or conducted business within the state of Ohio. I have no property, employees, or financial accounts in Ohio. My only involvement related to plaintiff was assisting a third party, Gabby, in raising funds for the third party's attorney in Florida and providing general clerical help and preparing documents for filing in Florida. I did not initiate or participate in any legal action in Ohio involving plaintiff and did not direct any conduct toward Ohio or its courts. Now, this is all very standard, okay? This is absolutely Kaylee's right to file these motions, to request what she requested. Kaylee signed this on November 3rd, and it was filed in the courts on November 10th. And of course, Feisty had received these motions and her declaration along with the certificate of service in the mail. Because when you are pro se, defending yourself, so to speak, in a civil matter, and you need to send motions to the other party, you're required to send it by mail, and then you also send to the court providing a certificate of service, showing that you sent it to the other parties. Now, is that always going to align with it going straight into the courts and when it's going to be filed by the courts and when it's going to appear on the docket? Not necessarily. And this is exactly what I was talking about in the other video about jumping the gun. Having to rush to social media to let everybody know about your lawsuit and what the other party did. And sometimes when you rush, you're wrong. You give wrong information. And that's what Feisty did here.
Hey y'all, hey. I just need to fact check a few things. Hold please. This is a current screenshot of Marysville Municipal Court docket. If you see, the last filing was on 11/6/2025. Funny thing, I received a packet via certified mail yesterday from one of these co-defendants. She reached out to me directly. That is a huge no-no.
No, it's not. That's procedural in a civil suit where the parties are representing themselves. The courts aren't going to take the time to send it all out. Like I said, she was supposed to send it to you and provide a certificate of service to the court. It's not a big no-no. It's not that big of a deal.
Another no-no is you don't send motions to the petitioner without them being filed at the courthouse first. The motions that I receive or should receive would have the courthouse's seal on it along with their stamp and all the things. This does not. I will not discuss what these motions say, but I can tell you that I was improperly served with them, and that motion has already been filed, along with a few other ones. And if these co-defendants choose to get on this here internet and talk about it, it's on them. The only thing I'm clearing up is misinformation. I will not be discussing the ins and outs of this case until it's over. I can tell you, as of what time is it? 5:35 p.m. here in Ohio, Marysville Municipal Court docket has not updated with any filings, meaning I should not have received one via certified mail from that defendant yesterday, but I did.
Okay. You didn't see it on the docket on this day that you're recording this because it was Veterans Day. And for somebody who celebrates our veterans so much, I don't know how that was overlooked, but it was. So of course it wasn't filed on Veterans Day.
If this individual was doing things the right way, she would have sent 3 copies of this motion to the courthouse, allowed the courthouse to file it, and then distribute them where they needed to go. But she thinks she's the smartest in the room. I'm not going to let her intimidate me. I'm not afraid of anything she has to file on me, because contrary to popular belief in what she says, I haven't done a fucking thing to her. Every bit of what she's done has been coordinated and targeted, and on December the 10th at 1:30 p.m., I'm going to fucking prove it. Y'all have a great night.
I love how Feisty says here that she's not going to be intimidated by Kaylee. What is this? I mean, I get it. It's internet. It's what people do. But we can't sit here and say that Kaylee's doing everything wrong because she's responding. She's going to poke the bear. She's going to rage bait in response to this type of bullshit. And that's who she is. That's her right. That's her personality. That's her channel. You don't have to watch it. But how is this any different by intimidation here? That's just my opinion. And another thing that's my opinion is by watching everything Kaylee has said about this lawsuit, she's been very careful what she says. And in my opinion, just watching her, what she has said about it has been true and correct. Has she mentioned it? Sure. It's her right. She's a co-defendant in this. But she's very pointed as to when she would talk about it and how she would talk about it. But in the meantime, Feisty was probably losing sleep because bright and early the next day, she's in front of the courthouse. And of course, what does she do? Well, let's just watch. Let's just watch, y'all.
I got you sitting on my steering wheel. Yeah. You see that building behind me right there? That's Marysville Municipal Courthouse. I just walked out of there. I need to clear up some misinformation. That's why I'm here. On the 10th of November, I received a packet, certified mail, from one of these defendants. On the same day, the same packet showed up here to this courthouse, but it took 48 hours and because of the holiday for it to update in the system. So technically it was improperly served, but it's nothing that they're going to make a fuss about.
That's really not how it works. And if it was improperly served, they would make a fuss about it. And you could make a fuss about it because that would be something that you could use against this co-defendant. But let's just sweep that one over. Why are we live in front of the courthouse spewing all of this? You can't tell me it's not for content. I'm sorry. That's my opinion.
But third-party assistance and people playing like lawyers without a license is a big deal.
Sure, it is. If you are representing yourself as an attorney and you are not licensed, or if you've never even studied law, let's say. In this case, from everything that I saw and listened to on both sides, that doesn't appear to be the case by any means. You are allowed to help somebody type some things up, etc. But can we not forget what age we're in and Chat GPT, anything AI? I don't know, Google, just straight up Google from when Google first came out. You can Google these things. You can find assistance online. Does not mean that she had somebody doing it. And by somebody saying they helped with clerical stuff does not mean they were giving legal advice, though. Also, the audio is about to get really bad. It's not on my end. It was on Feisty's end. I mean, she's in front of the courthouse, whatever. I'm surprised she didn't use her Wi-Fi. But it does get bad, so it is kind of hard to hear. We do get the gist of it. We do understand. Let's keep listening.
And that's what's going on with this case in particular. And the smartest person in the room literally admitted it in her motion to dismiss this lawsuit. Literally admitted in her motion to dismiss this lawsuit up here that she has helped Gabby with assistance, advice, all kinds of things.
We just read in Kaylee's declaration what she states her involvement was in helping Gabby. And how is that admitting to impersonating a lawyer and doing all the legal work as a non-lawyer for Gabby? Come on, it's not what happened. And this is what I hate, these exaggerations. But if this is what you have to reach for because you're out of other things, then go for it, I guess.
Banking on that motion to dismiss to be dropped before the 10th of December. I was just informed by the clerk of court that that's not how shit works here. These motions, including mine, filed right there, in front of this judge. So any hopes, dreams, aspirations of this judge signing off on this motion in here, they're not going to come to fruition. This is not a fucking game to me. I'm not suing Gabby and Kaylee for $7,000. I'm suing them for $6,000.
And that is because in this small claims court, when she went in to file this lawsuit, remember she had put a certain amount but then scratched it out because clearly she was informed that the max she can sue for in that court is $6,000.
And I find it fucking comical that she got on this here internet search on TikTok and I needed to not try to take hers and Gabby's money. And within a 12-hour time span, your bitch ass got on here and dry begged not only for a fucking divorce attorney, but for an attorney to handle your shit up here. Nobody needs to be paying for your women into this shit but you.
And this is just another one of those things, y'all. I watched that live stream and it was people in Kaylee's chat that were saying, yeah, let's, give her money. It was, for this attorney and we're going to bail you out or whatever it may be. There were jokes and Kaylee was joking with him. And it turns into like she was sitting there going, listen, guys, y'all, crying, saying, I need help. We got to get money together. That is not what happened. You can call it dry begging. You can say what. I mean, you're allowed to go on here and say these things, but Kaylee's not allowed to respond. That is what gets me, y'all. Because this right here, if you want to know the truth and what my opinion is, how is this not considered intimidation? And how is Kaylee not allowed to get funds to have to go to Ohio for something she feels she shouldn't have to do, just like you felt like you didn't have to do? Everybody has the right to feel their own right, what's right in their mind. You felt right about the Gabby situation. So what if Kaylee feels like she needs to get money for this? It's her right.
Nobody. I'm not dropping a fucking thing. And I filed an answer to that motion. I filed a third party notice to court regarding third-party assistance and improper service. Right here. Sean Stevens, you on this paperwork because I have screenshots of you all up in the chat as early as yesterday. Hold, please. Hold, let me flip. I'm getting reported. Report away, bitch. Report away. Report away. Right here at the bottom, there's no jurisdiction and it's in improper venue as well as improper service. I have so many of these screenshots of you, Miss Stevens.
If I were in Kaylee's chat and I was chatting, I would say the same thing about jurisdiction and venue, because anybody with a brain who understands a little bit part of the law would say the same thing. So it cracks me up when I see all these people going, I have this screenshot and that screenshot because somebody said something. Courts are very weird about third-party bullshit, okay? Hearsay, all that stuff, screenshots, whatever. But to say her opinion as to what she feels, now all this sudden she's pretending she's a lawyer and she's practicing law. Like, how am I not the only one that finds this ridiculous? People actually believe this shit?
Ms. Stevens, I have a lot of those screenshots of you. I also know that you're an administrator for a fire and rescue center. And I just wonder what they would think about your fucking behavior.
Here we go. Threatening jobs again. Go in real life. Okay. But, I don't know. Maybe what her employer would do would come to her for legal advice. Maybe they could save money by using her as their attorney. I don't know. Just a thought.
Is what I wonder. Shawini Stevens, your name was put on this paperwork. It's right here. It's right there because you're practicing law without a license. I got videos of you, Kelly and Gabby, all of y'all admitting that Kaylee's team on the back end doing all this legal shit. I got videos of every one of y'all admitting that y'all are the ones on the back end doing all the digging, all the things. Gabby literally sat on her platform and said, I'm not doing anything, but I've got people on the back end that know exactly what they're doing. Y'all are fighting with fire. You're fighting with fire.
And, this is just where it really bothers me. But, the thing is, that fire is just going to be pissed on and put out. So I don't understand how they're fighting with fire when it's a non-cause. Just piss on it and put it out. Save us all the misery.
You're fighting with fire. Miss Casey, talking to people, helping them because she knows she was in the wrong. And there are several other people that you think would never talk to me that are talking to me. You think they would never, but they are.
And maybe I'm taking this wrong. Maybe she's not referring to the lawsuit here. Maybe she's just referring to shit in general. But to say that you have all of this, can I just go back to third-party nonsense? Courts don't like third party, but can I also say that this civil matter is to get the $6,000 back that you say you spent to get down to Florida? What does this have to do with anything? This is why I think this is a huge waste of the court's time. Maybe you're not, you are saying this to the court, and we're going to read that in a second, but it doesn't matter in this case. You want $6,000 for travel expenses.
Okay, so I just want you guys to know, right there, Marysville Municipal Court Building is right there. It's right there. I filed my little response to your motion claiming that I don't have any personal jurisdiction.
Ohio doesn't have jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction. Ohio, not the plaintiff.
Gabrielle Jacobson had me served by Lee County Courthouse here in Ohio. The damages that were done to me were done here in Ohio. I have all kinds of personal jurisdiction. And because you then that you helped, assisted, and advised Gabby during this matter, I've got all kinds of jurisdiction to sue you too. You admitted it in your own fucking filing. You admitted it. Whatever. You have a great day. I'm going to Bad Garland. I'm going to Bad Garland. Don't get on here and tell me to get a job. Just because you think I don't have a job does not mean that I don't have one. And when we come to this hearing on the 10th, I promise you, I'm going to prove lost wages. And while we're talking, you might want to educate yourself on a married couple because our finances are joint together. One, we are yoked. We're yoked. And I most definitely can use my husband's lost wages in this hearing. And I'm gonna do it. Okay. Don't get on here and tell a judge that you're a single mom of 2 kids and you cannot travel because you're not a single mother. You only merely filed for a divorce. Your divorce is not final. Those 2 children can go and be with their daddy while you handle your legal fuckery.
I think it's fair to say that she doesn't know Kaylee's exact situation. And that's not a fair thing to say because basically what you're saying is F your kids, leave them because coming to Ohio for some frivolous bullshit is more important than your children. And that really bothered me, y'all. I'm not going to lie. This statement really, really got me. You're mad. I get it. Control yourself. I don't guess you can't. I don't know, y'all.
You're not going to win this one. You're not going to win it. I offered mediation. I offered a conversation and you want to keep playing games. Game on. We're going to play some ball. I love y'all.
To me, that one statement in itself right there shows me that this is more about retaliation than much of anything else against Kaylee. Okay. You're saying, I offered you mediation. I offered to have an adult conversation, but you chose not to. So game on. Leave your kids. Leave them. I don't know what the circumstances are, what they'll have to be left with, but just leave them. And you come here because you done pissed me off. So let's take a look at what she filed in that courthouse before she came and got in her car and raised hell about what she just accomplished in that courthouse. But here are the motions that she filed on that day, November 12th. This is Feisty's notice to court regarding third-party assistance and improper service. She's telling the court that on November 10th, she received a packet in the mail from a co-defendant that were not issued or served by the clerk of court. And in addition to this improper service, Feisty claims that the language and format of the motion strongly suggests professional assistance. Again, ChatGPT, Google, you can go to court websites. There are templates. There are all kinds of things. Defendant's own filing admits that she has been providing legal assistance to co-defendant Gabby, stating within her motion that she has, quote unquote, helped Gabby with her legal paperwork and filings. Feisty lets the court know that she believes that it is a third party identified as Sean residing at, gives her address. So here's another person whose information is now all over the internet, been assisting the defendant in drafting, preparing, and submitting court documents. And that Sean has publicly acknowledged that she, quote unquote, does the legal work and helps with all the filings on their behalf. She informs the court that neither defendant is represented by licensed counsel and there's no record of Sean being an attorney authorized to practice law in the state of Ohio. If true, this activity may constitute unauthorized practice of law. Plaintiff respectfully requests that the court take judicial notice of this information for the record. Examine whether the assistance being provided to the defendants constitutes unauthorized practice of law. Disregard or strike improperly filed or served motions not filed through the clerk's office. And direct that all future filings comply strictly with the Ohio Civil Rules 5 and 10. Feisty also filed a response in opposition to Kaylee's motion to dismiss. And of course, this is very standard, so I'm just going to breeze through it, hit the main points of what she said. You can always pause it and read it for yourself if this is a document you have not seen, but I'm just going to kind of hit through the highlights. But yeah, feel free to read it for yourself in full. Feisty's argument for lack of personal jurisdiction is that defendant intentionally directed her conduct toward plaintiff in Union County, Ohio. These quote-unquote minimum contacts are more than sufficient to establish jurisdiction. I tend to disagree, but that is up to the judge. And if not, then Kaylee will have to defend herself in that and prove whether or not she's had any business dealings, etc. in Ohio. She argues improper venue and failure to state a claim. And she says that in response to failure to state a claim, that Feisty's complaint alleges active participation in defamation, malicious prosecution, and coordinated online harassment. These actions constitute actionable torts under Ohio law. But that's not what you're suing her for. And it is my feeling that she wants this to be a defamation case so bad, but the only thing she could file there was in small claims court for the amount of $6,000. You want to file a defamation case, you're going to have to go to Louisiana against Kaylee, and you're going to have to go to Florida against Gabby. It's how the law works. Sorry to break it to you. Feisty says that Kaylee's affidavit supports Feisty's position because she says that Kaylee admits to basically preparing documents down in Florida, and therefore she's responsible for causing Gabby to file a petition against Feisty in Florida, therefore causing Feisty to travel to Florida, therefore causing her now to sue for those expenses. Feisty's opposition to Kaylee's request to appear remotely is that she objects to Kaylee's request to appear remotely, given the pattern of online misconduct, impersonation, and off-camera assistance. Plaintiff respectfully requests that the court require defendants' in-person attendance to ensure the authenticity and fairness. Okay, makes zero sense, but, whatever. If that's all you got, it's all you got. She reiterates that Kaylee appears to be receiving assistance from a non-lawyer because of the tone, formatting, and use of complex citations in defendants' filings suggest they were not independently prepared. Again, go online. There are hundreds of templates that you can access. You can Google it. You can GPT, chat it, all these things. But nonetheless, she states that such activity constitutes the unauthorized practice of law, and that the plaintiff reserves the right to request referral of this issue to the Ohio Supreme Court Board on the unauthorized practice of law. Good luck with that one, Feisty. Just saying. In conclusion, she requests that the court deny defendant's motion to dismiss, deny defendant's motion to appear remotely, proceed to hearing on the merits, and consider referring the unauthorized legal assistance issues for further review. Signed on November 12th. Then on the 13th of November, Feisty files an amended response in opposition to defendant's motion to dismiss. And here she states that this amended filing incorporates all arguments from plaintiff's original opposition and corrects and expands necessary factual and legal points to ensure a complete and accurate record before the court. I feel this should have been done in her original opposition, but here she's just going to elaborate and say that this case arises from Kaylee's targeted actions toward Feisty, an Ohio resident, resulting in financial losses, reputational harm, harassment, and substantial travel costs directly caused by defendant's involvement in a frivolous Florida temporary protection order petition. Defendant's motion misstates the facts and the law, and plaintiff provides this amended opposition to ensure the court has a full and accurate understanding of the procedural history of the defendant's purposeful conduct. This should have been done in the original opposition, but I guess she realized that it was way too light, and she needs to come back with more things that are only to be, in my opinion, discussing defamation accusations. So I guess it's where she has to correct herself about saying she was improperly served, and she says that she received a motion to dismiss in the mail directly sent to her by Kaylee on November 10th of 2025. And on November 12th, she received another document titled Defendant's Reply in Support of Motion to Dismiss. Yeah, that's what you do. That's absolutely protocol right there. At the time plaintiff received the mailing, no filing appeared on the Union County docket, and the court had not issued any service. Upon inquiry, the clerk stated the court had received documents, but they, quote unquote, had not been uploaded yet. So whose fault is that? No one's. This means defendant served plaintiff before filing with the court in violation of proper service procedure. And that's something for the judge to decide, and that's something for Kaylee to dispute with dates and receipts from certified mail, etc. Then she says, defendant is a monetized content creator engaging in commercial activity reaching Ohio. This won't stand. I'm pretty sure this won't stand, but let's just entertain ourselves with what she had to say. She said, defendant operates monetized online platforms, receives donations, sells merchandise nationwide, and profits from content about the plaintiff. That's not how this works when it comes to jurisdiction and online, but okay. And then she says that Kaylee used verbiage taken from the Florida petition on merchandise and accepted donations from at least one Ohio resident who also assisted her in gathering information about plaintiff's prior cases. These purposeful commercial contacts support jurisdiction in Ohio. We'll see what the judge says. And here she states that Kaylee purposefully directed her actions towards Ohio. She's saying that Kaylee publicly identified and targeted plaintiff, a known Ohio resident, that she participated in a plan that forced an Ohio resident to travel 2,400 miles. She engaged with Ohio residents to further the harassment campaign. She monetized content about an Ohio resident. It's not how this works, y'all, but let's keep going. Kaylee directed threats, deep dives, and harassment towards plaintiff in Ohio. Is this a defamation case or is this a small claims lawsuit for $6,000? Asking for everyone. Physical presence is not required for jurisdiction. Defendant's conduct was deliberate, not accidental. And then she says, a defendant knowingly and repeatedly directed conduct at plaintiff and her Ohio household. So is this defamation towards an Ohio resident, or is this you just want your money back? Defendant targeted plaintiff's husband, a 100% disabled U.S. veteran. Y'all, I'm going to try to be as calm about this one as I can. Kaylee sexually harassed plaintiff's husband while green screening wedding pictures, mocked his disability, not true, disparaged his Navy service, not true, claimed he, quote unquote, never served, not true, and made damaging false sexual accusations involving their niece. This is all semantics to confuse the judge, in my opinion, about this, and I think Kaylee can prove otherwise. She never said her husband never served. Her sarcasm, her humor, whatever you want to call it, whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. She basically said, what if he didn't serve? Maybe he didn't serve. He probably never served. Rage bait. You all do it. She rage baits. Now all of a sudden she's saying that he never served and she's disparaging his service. It's not against the law to say the things she said. And for you to say she sexually harassed him, y'all, let me just say this. I don't define my husband as a disabled veteran, but I'm only saying this here because I feel the need, because I don't need people coming after me saying I don't understand. My husband is a 100% disabled veteran as well, okay? He works every day just like her husband does. We don't define him by that. Well, I don't. Feisty loves this because why? Because it gets sympathy. And then she did in another live, and I don't know if I have it on here, she states and says, this judge is a veteran. He's not going to take lightly to this. But if this judge is going to stick within his ethics, this doesn't matter about why she needs to get $6,000 to go down to Florida or get her $6,000 back that caused her to go down to Florida. I would never insult my husband's manliness, his good looks. Look, if somebody wants to say my husband is good looking and, they would take him to bed, I'd say, yeah, damn right. But, he'd also get a good giggle out of it too, because number one, that's just who he is. But I would not continue to go on and on and on about how he is so upset that he's being sexually harassed on the internet. This is a play here, y'all. This is a way because, look, Stretch Armstrong over there, she couldn't reach far enough, and she had to come up with something more. Hey, let's throw in the 100% disabled U.S. veteran. I would never do that to my husband. So come at me for that one, whatever you want. I respect and love my husband as my husband. I'm proud of him as a veteran. I would never, ever exploit him to this degree to get back at somebody on the fucking internet. Moving on past that absolute nonsense, she says that defendant continues harassing and monetizing commentary even after she was served. Again, defamation lawsuit, or the only place you could file a suit was small claims for $6,000. She is stating again, unauthorized legal assistance. Defendant publicly admitted receiving help from non-lawyer Sean, raising credibility issues with her filings. I think Kaylee will be able to prove otherwise. Plaintiff has had claims. Venue is proper in Union County. And her conclusion, plaintiff respectfully requests that the court deny defendant's motion to dismiss and allow this matter to proceed to hearing. To save face, yeah, you need that to happen. And here is her certificate of service when she sent this to Kaylee on the 13th of November. So just to be an asshole, I'm just going to point out the obvious here. So when she filed this, she's in the court, right? So the court's going to stamp it, and it's going to be, stamped November 13th. Then Feisty takes her copy. She deposits it in the United States mail, and it goes off to Kaylee, right? Kaylee's down in Louisiana. How is Kaylee supposed to have it stamped and filed in the courts before it's sent to Feisty? I mean, come on. She followed protocol. Feisty didn't understand that. Or maybe I'm misunderstanding what Feisty was trying to say. Nonetheless, she realized that Kaylee really did not make a mistake in serving her, or that she intentionally served her improperly, or whatever it may be. When she went into that courthouse on the 12th, I think she was told. And what did Feisty say when she got in the car? That it was served improperly, but they were just going to overlook it. They were just going to dismiss that whole situation. No, not how it works. Another thing that showed up on the docket on November 13th is this filing that Feisty referenced in her last filing, and it is Kaylee's reply in support of her motion to dismiss. This is pretty standard. I'm not going to read it just to save time, but I will put it here, and you can pause and read it if you wish. On November 17th, Gabby's filings show up on the docket, and she also filed a motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction and improper venue. I will leave this here for you to read over if you wish. You can pause and read. She also filed a certificate of correction of service. Apparently, she had sent the original to the incorrect address. You can pause and read this. This is Gabby's notice of correction of certificate of service, and it states what she did, the address that she sent it to first, and then to the corrected address. This is Gabby's affidavit, and she basically states she is who she is, that she has not lived, worked, or conducted business in Ohio. She has no property, contracts, or personal ties with Ohio. And she says that she did, in fact, file an injunction in Lee County, Florida, which she voluntarily dismissed before it occurred. And she says, I did not appear or request that the plaintiff incur any travel. I am not aware of any legal reason why the Marysville Municipal Court in Ohio would have jurisdiction over me as a resident of Florida. I respectfully request that the court take this information into consideration in reviewing my motion to dismiss. One thing Gabby did not file that Kaylee did is a motion to appear remotely. I don't know why she didn't do that. I don't know, but she didn't. But Feisty went live on November 18th to discuss these filings, and let's listen to what she had to say.
You got people over here playing lawyer. I wish that when this is all said and done, I don't even have to show y'all. This is public record. Go to Marysville Municipal Court and look at the bullshit that's being filed at this courthouse.
How is this bullshit? How is it bullshit that they file a motion to dismiss? It's their right. It is absolutely their right. Whether you like it or not, it is their right. It is their right to file a motion to appear remotely. It is their right. I guess Feisty thought they weren't going to respond, that she was just going to file this and they were going to have to deal with it, and they were just going to have to show up in Ohio without even trying to have it dismissed or to be able to appear by Zoom.
These women acting like they know what they're doing. That non-lawyer over there, Shawini Stevens, doing the most, still acting like she's a lawyer. Today, telling everybody, grab it. It's evidence for G. Get it on the dock. Let me tell you something, Sean. You're fucking ignorant. Do you not understand this is a civil matter? Do you not understand that you guys are not going to be able to come in there and demand fucking financial discoveries on a civil matter? Do you not understand that everything that comes out of your fucking bumping gums when you walk in front of that judge, you're going to have to prove it, not me?
Since when is the burden of proof on the defendant? And of course, the judge is going to want to see proof of expenses, what it cost to travel, for the lodging, for the food, etc. And it is the defendant's right to request that that be provided and seen and proven. Like, what world do we live in that you just get to file suit on somebody and just have the judge take your word for it and stamp granted, move on along, pay her $6,000 for traveling to Florida when she didn't have to?
You're going to have to prove it. And you have sat on this app ever since you got served with that paperwork down there, Louisiana, and you've done nothing but threaten me. You've done nothing but intimidate me. You've done nothing but harass me. You're out here falsely accusing people of being donors and all this shit. All y'all are doing is deflecting from the money you can't account for. But that's not my problem. That's not why I'm taking you to court. I'm taking you to court because you helped Gabby orchestrate a whole ass fucking lawsuit down there that she withdrew 3 days prior to it being heard. And y'all might want to keep an eye on the docket because Kaylee's got 2 cases against her up here. She wanted to sit there and keep running her mouth and running her mouth and running her mouth. Well, she didn't file for defamation. She didn't file for defamation. This is for damages. Check the docket. Check the docket.
I have checked the docket. There's not a lawsuit where Feisty is suing Kaylee for defamation. Kaylee is not mentioned on her channel that she has been served. And once again, filing a defamation lawsuit in your state is not going to fly. You'd have to go down to Louisiana and file against Kaylee and go to Florida to file against Gabby. And if you did try to file in Ohio, that's great. I'm sure it cost you a lot of money. I think you said $460 to do so. And I'm sure you were told it can't be filed here, or else it would still be on the docket.
I did file for defamation. If you knew where you were looking, you'd be able to see it. You'll have it soon enough. Both of them have claimed that Ohio has no jurisdiction over them. Bullshit. Bullshit. Both of you are monetized creators. One of you sells merchandise. The other one has a published book on Amazon KDP. You are doing business outside of your home state lines. We absolutely have jurisdiction here in Ohio. I live in Ohio. She had me served here in the great state of Ohio. The damages were done here in the great Buckeye state. We absolutely have jurisdiction here. There's a reason why that judge hasn't dismissed this case yet. I'm just saying.
And with today being the 6th and the 10th being the hearing, the judge will determine if that is the case or not, and then we'll know. Next, Feisty talks about the money that she received, whether it be through donations or whatnot. And I'll be honest, I don't know enough about the details in that to even talk on it. So I'm going to just leave that aside, but I will play what she said.
I received $2,520 from Pink. 2520 is what I received from Pink. And as I was getting my evidence packet together, I got all my bank statements and all that stuff together, right? Travel, lodging, food, that's it. All that was left out of that $2,520 was $458. That was it. That was it. But I don't have to, what people don't understand, and I'm going to explain it because it doesn't matter, we're education. It doesn't matter where the money came from. It doesn't matter how I paid for my attorney. It doesn't matter how I paid to get there or how I paid for my fucking double cheeseburgers. That does not matter. It doesn't matter. And to the women in the back that keep screaming, it does, you're going to learn on the 10th that it does not. You're also going to learn on the 10th of December that my husband's income does count. It absolutely counts. You're going to learn it. Her and Gabby both have filed motions to dismiss because of improper jurisdictions and all that kind of stuff, but they're lying to the court. They're telling the court that they've never done business in the state of Ohio, and I know for a fact both of them have, because Brownie donated to Kaylee during the fundraising, and Brownie lives in Ohio. Congratulations, you've done business in fucking Ohio. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. All she had to send you was a fucking penny, and you've done business in the state of Ohio.
The judge may not agree with you, Feisty. He might decide that that is not enough to fall within the law. And again, if he even hears this case, if this case is not dismissed before that, who knows? Again, nothing has happened yet, and the hearing is scheduled for the 10th. But I still wonder if this judge is going to take this case and say that Ohio has jurisdiction.
You better learn to read. Also, only one person had to sign for those papers. Kaylee or Gabby. If one signed and the other didn't matter. They both got to come.
That will probably be another decision for the judge to determine if Kaylee has as much liability in this as Gabby. And if she doesn't show, there's so many factors here that could happen if this goes past the motions to dismiss. And Feisty is stating everything is fact that is going to happen. She's basically saying what the judge is going to rule and how this is going to go. And there's no way to determine that. And that's frustrating. But she also seems to get a lot of joy out of the fact that if Gabby doesn't show, it's going to fall all on Kaylee's shoulders. According to Feisty, at least.
You go in there and read that response to the motion. You'll see it tomorrow because I responded to Gabby's today. The judge knows that Gabby plans on going to Disney while this hearing is taking place. They know.
That is just such a weird thing to say. Like, yeah, like I just sat down and had dinner with the judge and I told him, hey, this defendant's planning on not showing because she's going to Disney. And when Gabby said that she was going to Disney on the 10th, it was very clear that she was just being a smartass and rage baiting. And again, I'm not defending Gabby, but as soon as she said it, I knew she was lying and I knew she was saying it to piss off Feisty. Clearly it worked. I personally immediately caught on to what she was doing and what she was saying. And sure enough, then everybody starts talking, she's going to Disney instead of court.
I think Gabby's going to leave Kaylee up here to answer for this shit by herself. What do y'all think? I think Gabby's going to be a no-show and Kaylee's going to have to face this judge by herself. And that's unfortunate because all she had to do was have a decent conversation with me. I offered mediation, and through my research, I have learned that judges appreciate it when you try to handle it out of a courtroom. They do. And I can prove that I offered mediation. I can prove that I went into her YouTube that day and I called a truce and that she decided to drag me from that point forward. Unprovoked. I have never, ever, ever gone after Kaylee. Never. She came for me because I had a previous restraining order and Sean said we can get another one. No, if they don't show it, I get it by default.
If the judge does not dismiss this case, then yes, that is true. If neither show, then she would be granted by default.
She can fight it. Well, if she don't come, she don't come. That'd be tragic for Kaylee. That would be fucked up. Because if it weren't for Gabby, she wouldn't be involved. But either way it goes, they're co-defendants. And both of them signed. Well, Gabby signed for her papers. So that means Kaylee's been served too. And they're citing on this improper service thing. If y'all go over there and look at it on Kaylee's improper service, she's citing an outdated law. She cites an outdated Ohio law. Okay. The new Ohio law states, as long as that fucking envelope is marked delivered, you're served.
In Kaylee's defense, she knew she was being served. She acknowledged that she was being served. If she thought it was improper and she cited the wrong case law for that, well, then so be it. But for people to say that she was acting like she wasn't served and that she had no responsibility in this, she knew she was served. She acknowledged it. She just said that she thought it was done incorrectly. Just like you said, she served you incorrectly.
The postal worker can leave it in a mailbox. Sure can. Sean's doing all her paperwork. Sean has admitted to it. They're over there saying there's nothing wrong with Sean acting like a non-lawyer. Sean's allowed to help her friend all she wants. Kaylee admitted in her motion to dismiss that she advised Gabby with her legal stuff. She fucking outright admitted it. Then Gabby outright admitted that she withdrew the damn petition.
Okay, what's the argument here? What is the argument here? Does anybody else understand why I don't feel there's a case here? I can't be the only one that feels this way.
From what I was told, the motions to dismiss always go on the magistrate's desk for review, but he doesn't typically rule on them till the day of the hearing.
Whoa, wait a minute. Didn't you just say at the beginning of this live that the reason why it wasn't dismissed is because you have a strong case and that everything they said in their motion to dismiss was bogus and that's why it wasn't dismissed? Because he didn't agree with their motion to dismiss? Didn't you just say at the beginning, but now you're saying that he's not even going to acknowledge their motions to dismiss until the day of the hearing? Interesting.
And due to the severity of the, from what I understand, due to the severity of the matter and everything that's taking place, they're going to be required to appear in person. You hear that, Kaylee? She's not going. She ripped up the paperwork. So it's going to be me and you, sis. Mono against a mono. Turtle against skunk. Coming to a courthouse near you, bitch. She's going to make you answer to this shit by yourself. That's some fuck shit right there. I don't think a warrant gets issued for civil matters. But I think well, actually, let me change that. That's all up to the judge's discrepancy. You know what I'm saying? With her ripping up paperwork that supposedly came from that courthouse, and her getting on here saying whether she's rage baiting or not, that she's not going to court, she's going to Disney on a day that she knows she's under a subpoena. I don't think either one of these girls understand that. Until that judge dismisses this case, which is not going to happen, in my personal opinion, they are under Ohio subpoenas. These are legitimate subpoenas. They are ordered to appear in court. And if they don't, there are going to be consequences. So they can find out on their own. I know I'm going to be there. That's all that matters to me. They don't get to get on here and solicit for attorneys either. They have to raise their attorney money privately because this court case is around them raising money and sending all this bullshit. They don't get to get on here and solicit. They don't get to use my court hearing to line their pockets this time. They can try. It's not going to end well.
It just doesn't make sense. Y'all, it's so frustrating.
Y'all should be able to see another filing on the docket in the next couple of days. As I said, it's not showed up yet, but this one that I filed does not have anything to do with Gabby. This is between me and Kaylee. It cost me a little bit more money to file this one. It was $460 to file this case because it's going to a different court because of the defamation. Marysville Municipal Court does not handle defamation cases. I had to take it to a different court. So y'all will see that sooner than later.
Yes, I did crop out a lot of that live stream, but that is why I put on here where you can find it. So if you want to watch the whole thing, you're curious for that, you can go find it on Nookie's channel. That is where I found it. Or if you're going to try to accuse me of cropping it and editing it to where it's in somebody else's favor other than Feisty's, you can go see that that's not the case. So the next thing that showed up on the docket was a filing from Gabby. And until just now, I pretty much forgot that this was filed. She did file a motion to appear remotely. In Gabby's motion, she pretty much just states that she cannot afford to travel to Ohio, and therefore she's requesting that she can attend by Zoom. The next filing on the docket is on November 20th, and Kaylee files a motion to strike Feisty's notice regarding unauthorized assistance. I won't read it in full, but she states that the notice is procedurally improper. The court lacks jurisdiction over UPL allegations. Plaintiff provides no evidence. The notice is prejudicial and should be stricken. And I agree with this motion, but it's not up to me. Clearly, it's up to this judge. On the 20th, there was also a second declaration of Kaylee filed, and you feel free to read this if you choose. You can pause and read, but we are going to move on to the filings that Feisty filed next. As of today, when I'm recording this, December 6th, the last filings on the docket to show within this court are on November 24th. And this filing is Feisty's opposition to Gabby's motion to dismiss. It's pretty similar to what she filed in opposition to Kaylee's motion to dismiss. So again, I'll just put it up here. If you choose to read it, you can pause and do so. And this is the second page of Feisty's opposition to Gabby's motion to dismiss. There are two more filings that she filed on the 24th of November, and we're going to go through those quickly, and then we will be done with the filings, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on all this. But this is Feisty's motion for sanctions and notice of improper third-party assistance, and she's addressing the ongoing irregular service, improper coordination between defendants, unauthorized third-party participation, harassment of potential witnesses, misuse of social media, and public disrespect toward the court's communications. This motion is necessary to protect the fairness and integrity of these proceedings and to prevent further prejudice against the plaintiff. So, okay, let's just carry on. The introduction states that defendants have repeatedly engaged in conduct demonstrating disregard for proper court procedure and the authority of this court, including improper service, undated filings, coordinated responses, public destruction of court correspondence, and the use of litigation as entertainment content on monetized live streams. Because you don't do that yourself? Plaintiff seeks sanctions and corrective orders to restore order and protect the integrity of the process. Factual background, she lists the dates that, according to her, improper service and conflicting mailings happened, etc. Feel free to read. because I want to get to this next part. Public destruction of court correspondence in a mocking, performative manner. On November 18th, 2025, defendant Gabby live streamed herself dramatically ripping a court letter into numerous small pieces, smiling broadly, and treating the destruction as entertainment for her online audience. She then stated she would not attend the hearing. This staged performance demonstrates open disrespect and bad faith participation in these proceedings. Gabby did, in fact, rip up a mailing she received in the mail she stated was from Feisty, but that it was addressed to Kaylee, so she ripped it up. And it was performative, and it was wrong, but it's not against the law, and I don't understand what she's expecting the courts to do here. Unauthorized third-party assistance and online solicitation of evidence. Defendant has publicly admitted assisting the other defendant with filings and coordinating with non-parties. A third individual, known as Sean, encouraged viewers to gather evidence for filings. This exceeds permissible clerical help and constitutes improper third-party involvement. This is just something that has to be proven. If this goes far enough for the judge to hear, then all this stuff just has to be proven. And Feisty says she has it. It's up to the judge. The next thing she states is that there have been monetized live stream dissemination of this case, that defendants have continued discussing this case in monetized live streams while soliciting donations, mocking plaintiff, misrepresenting court procedures, and encouraging viewer involvement. This transforms litigation into online entertainment and undermines judicial integrity. Feisty has done the exact same thing. Let's make that clear. You've seen it. She's been on here talking about the case. How is it any different? The next is harassment of potential witnesses based on false statements, and she's saying that Kaylee publicly and falsely accused a potential witness of helping Feisty obtain an attorney, which is untrue. The next thing she says is improper public demands for plaintiff's evidence. Defendant has demanded plaintiff publicly release receipts, financial records, and evidence for trial. Such demands are improper and mislead the public about legal procedure. That's not how I interpreted it when I watched Kaylee's live stream. Again, responding to something Feisty said, and she's like, well, then show me all the evidence. You got to show this. It's out of context. It truly is. And I want to remind you, I did not know Kaylee before I saw a video of Feisty talking about this lawsuit. So this is not me making a video in support of Kaylee because I've been a supporter of her for all this time. I did not know of Kaylee until recently. Around the same time I discovered Feisty. I didn't know Feisty either. She's telling the court again here that Kaylee's sworn admission is stating that she's acting as a third party when she included that in her first affidavit. And her argument is that the court has authority to sanction bad faith conduct. Ohio courts may sanction parties who engage in improper service, misleading filings, unauthorized third-party assistance, witness harassment, or disrespect toward court authority. Personally, I don't see any of this. That's just my personal opinion from watching, from reading, and that is why this entire lawsuit frustrates me. As we see as time goes on, all of a sudden things get more intense, and it's just wild to me. You are seeking reimbursement for money that you claim it cost to go to Florida. But this is sounding more like a defamation lawsuit that you want to file. She then addresses the defective service by saying that 2 conflicting mailings, an undated motion, and an incorrect address violates Ohio Civil Rule 4.1. I mean, she's acting like there was 80,000 filings in this, and this is a huge case. This is a pro se case at that. Sometimes the judge offers some leniency there. Then she says that harassment of witness is improper. Publicly attacking or intimidating potential potential witnesses undermines integrity of the proceedings. I guess because Kaylee said that one of these potential witnesses helped raise money for Feisty, and Feisty says that that is not true and it's a false statement. And I don't have I cannot speak on that because that's not something that I know for certain. Of course, that's something that they'll have to prove to the courts if it gets that far. Sworn admission confirms improper third-party participation. Defendant Kaylee's affidavit proves coordinated activity and unauthorized legal involvement. And I don't see it that way. That's just not how it was stated. And this is just, it's stretching so far, y'all. Then public destruction of court documents shows bad faith. Defendant Gabby's live stream destruction of court documents warrants sanctions. Sanctions, y'all, for her ripping up a piece of paper that may or may not have even actually been the document. We don't know. I mean, sure, it's kind of a middle finger to the courts to some degree, but sanctions? And of course, monetized live streams corrupt the judicial process. Litigation cannot be conducted through online harassment for profit or attention. Feisty, you're doing the same thing. Like, the hypocrisy here is insane to me. How do you think I knew about this case? I would not have known about this case if I did not come across one of Feisty's live streams. That is a fact. Request for relief. Feisty respectfully requests the court issue sanctions against defendants, Kaylee and Gabby, order defendants to cease unauthorized third-party assistance. I mean, the case will be done by then, right? Like, what? And what world are we living in right now, y'all? Prohibit defendants from soliciting online audiences for evidence or strategy. Direct the clerk to complete all future service on defendant. Warn defendants regarding harassment of witnesses and misuse of court documents. Grant any other relief deemed just and proper. Okay. I mean, did we really just read this? We made it to the home stretch, y'all. This is the last filing that is currently on the docket regarding this lawsuit, and it is Feisty's motion regarding defective and inconsistent service by Gabby. She lists the dates and what document she's stating was, done improperly, and then her argument. She reminds the court that Gabby's first mailing was defective and failed to meet Ohio service requirements. She continues to explain why these mailings were improper and her request for relief, acknowledgement that the November 17th mailing was improperly served, acknowledgement that the November 18th mailing was a corrective attempt, an order requiring defendant to comply strictly with service rules, any further relief deemed just and proper. Here's my thing here. This case is pretty much done once this ruling is ruled upon, whether it's dismissed, whether they grant Feisty this $6,000 or not, and what other terms the judge decides. So what is this whole order that in the future that they must comply with certain things? I believe this case is going to be done. I think it's going to be done very quickly. This is not something that's going to stay on the books because it's this huge, intense case. This is Feisty stating that she spent $6,000 of her own money to travel down to Florida, which I personally think she did not need to go. And she is seeking that money back from these two defendants. How is this turned into a harassment and stalking and defamation case all of a sudden? It's not. And with that, we are done. And I know this was long. It was drawn out. It was too much. I get it. And believe me, I will not be speaking on Feisty ever again unless there are more filings in this case and I just find it like crazy, whatever. You know what I mean? I cannot speak on Feisty again. I can't watch her. I refuse to watch her anymore. But this did really get under my skin. It showed me that there needs to be control and somebody is trying to find it within their own state over people in other states. when they realized they couldn't file defamation, they're filing the small claims. They're stating they are owed all this money. To me, they never had to go to Florida in the first place. Then all these filings that Feisty is filing within the court is all about harassment and throwing her husband's disability as a veteran, 100% disabled veteran, throwing that in there for sympathy. Is she going to be granted the $6,000 or is his case going to be dismissed? And just because I feel so strongly that it will be dismissed clearly does not mean that's what's going to happen. This is my opinion. But if this is dismissed, if this goes nowhere, it needs to be shown that cases like this need to stay out of the court. We're wasting court time and resources. But with all of that said, I'm ending this here. Hopefully there will not be another video that I do about Feisty and this lawsuit. I'll probably come back with an update once we know what the ruling is. But anything Feisty and her shenanigans and what she does on her platform, no more for me, y'all. This was painful enough. But I do appreciate I appreciate you guys so much for sticking with me, and I hope to see you guys in the comments below, and I hope to see you on the next video, whatever that may be about. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, y'all.